Before I do my etching, I know there's some booger glue or some areas here, you can see it maybe, that need to be cleaned up. So you're going to very carefully use the vinegar in this cup here and a Q-tip. All of this is on the cart. I don't want to put too much vinegar on it because what this is going to do is it's going to take away some of the stick. So you don't want to touch necessarily the edges of your design. But I'm getting in here with my Q-tip. I have it wet on one side and dry on the other, so this is the wet side. To clean that up, make sure that there's no oils from your fingers on the glass, or else it might affect the glass etching. So I have the vinegar on one side, and you only need to do this if you can see that you have stickiness on there, or maybe you have some oils on there from your hands. Definitely do this on some larger areas here. I've got the New Jersey here just to make sure it's clean. And when you're done, make sure that your edges are burnished. I'm taking my thumb here and I'm going to burnish along the edge so that there's no way that this etching cream can get under that area. So the next step is to put some gloves on your hands, protect your hands. This etching, this is Armor Etch. If you look at the bottle here, it says in big bold letters, danger causes severe burns on your skin. You're not going to know it right away if you have it on your skin. You're going to be sitting in your next class and your hands, certain areas of your hand are going to get red and itchy and burn. That is because you got paste on your hands and you didn't wash it off. If that happens, you're not going to die. Just go wash your hands with soap and water. Maybe run it under cold water, but it is essentially an acid burn if you get this cream on your hands, so be very careful. So I have my gloves on, I have my etching cream. Now notice I have a piece of paper. This is paper to protect my desk because I don't want to get this cream on anything, so if I accidentally get it on the paper, I can throw the paper away. I'm going to get a clean Q-tip, and I'm going to put this on there nice and thick. Not so thick that it's going to drip off, but thick enough that it's going to heat activate. Now the one thing you don't want to do is you don't want to paint it on like that, because that is going to give you streaks. So if you do that, it's going to show up as streaks. So again, I'm sort of globbing this on nice and thick. I'm holding the jar with my hand. Do not use my fabric to hold your jar in place. The fabric was just for cutting, so your jar didn't roll around. I want to get back over these areas here where I did do some of that. So there we go. So the way this works is it's an acid-based cream that eats away at the surface of the glass. It needs to be thick enough to activate, so you don't want to put a thin coat. And you only need to leave it on there for 5 minutes. If you leave it on for tomorrow, it'll dry out and then it's going to be really crusty and a pain to get off. So I'm going to pause for 5 minutes and come back. Okay, so it's been about 5 minutes. Notice I have a smock on. You don't want to get this on your clothes because it's like bleach. It will bleach your clothes. I'm going to run this underwater. You can see, and notice I still have my gloves on because I don't want to get this paste on my hands. I'm actually going to use this to rub the paste off, making sure to get in all those cracks and crevices. Now, when you're done, you're going to look at me and say, Miss D, this didn't work, but you're not going to notice it until you peel the tape off and dry off your glass. So now I'm going to peel off that tape and remove it. You might be able to see, because my glass, I wiped this dry, you might be able to see the difference between the frosted and the clear a little bit. And I'll keep peeling this off and show you. But if I dry it, there might be a little bit of etching paste in those corners there. So get something to dry that off, or to wipe that, to get all of that off. There you can see I have a little bit of etching paste on the edges there, so I'm just going to take my dry paper towel and wipe that. And so if you're ready to do the etching cream, but there's only 5 minutes left in class, just wait until tomorrow because you don't want this to dry overnight. The last thing is cleanup. Notice here I have my vinegar that can go back onto the cart and the etching paste that can go back onto the cart. My gloves and my dirty Q-tips need to go in the garbage, but since I have paper here, I'm just going to crumple that up and make sure that's all wrapped up. If you happen to get etching paste on the table, just get a soapy sponge and make sure you wipe it off. But you can see here, maybe a little bit here, some of that etching. I still need to get the rest of the tape off, but now you can see how nicely that etched. It's got that nice frosted design look. And that's it.